No, exactly. Shall we go to the phone lines, Chrissy, and see who we've got online?
Yes, let's see who's there.
Okay. Area code 212. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's Lorenzo Borghese.
Hi, how are you doing?
Lorenzo.
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, I want to, first of all, thank you for all your support, especially as you stated, you are based in the UK, and as we all know, a dog doesn't care if he's in the United States or she's in the United States or the UK or anywhere else in the world.
Right.
The fact that this is happening anywhere is just sickening.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's right. And we're all citizens of the same planet, so.
Yeah, and I don't know, you know what really got me behind trying to stop this is that there's a good friend of mine called Karen Talbot who sent me a video and told me I had to watch it, and it was a video of dogs being euthanized by gas, and the word euthanize is actually improperly used because that's supposed to be a painless death.
A good death.
To put something out of its misery, which is far from the case with these dogs. But I saw these dogs being put in gas chambers, and it's one of the most depressing, disgusting things I've ever seen. And it made me, first of all, believe that it's actually happening because I didn't believe it until I saw it. And then what's more important is that it made me want to do something about it.
Yes. So you were on the Ricky Lake show talking about this, weren't you?
I was on Ricky Lake talking about it, and what I realized when I was talking about it was that most people in the United States don't even realize it exists. It's sort of a dark secret with the shelters, and when people find out that it does exist, the first thing they want to do is make sure it stops. And fortunately, there's getting a lot of traction, and it's now. I know a bill was just proposed, and hopefully it'll be banned soon in every state here in the U.S.
That's not a bill. It's a resolution. Congressman
resolution by Representative Jim Moran, right?
That's right, yes.
Right, and he's trying to stop it, and you know it is a long battle. It's a tough fight, but so far. Almost half of the states have banned it. We still have a ways to go. But what we do know is that the United States, at least the individuals here, do not want to see the gas chamber anymore.
No, good. I'm glad you don't.
Exactly. See, how long have these gas chambers actually been around then? You know, did they literally come in with the ark, or is it some, you know, what's the history behind them?
I don't know the exact date that they were installed. It's just sort of sick that someone actually comes out with this idea on how to kill numerous dogs at one time. And what's even worse is that people profit from, one, making these chambers and selling them. Two, there's courses that teach people how to gas these animals where they charge for. And three, there's obviously the gas that they have to buy. So this is a way for what I call these sick individuals to make more money by really putting deep fear and pain into these animals. And it's we understand that at times pets have to be put down. I mean, I had to put my dog down when she was suffering. She was almost 12. And, she was with 3 vets, and they said, listen, this is the best thing for her. But what I knew when I was with her was that it was painless. It was not where she couldn't breathe for a while, where her organs were giving out before her brain gave out, which happens with the gas chamber. And it can take over 30 minutes for a dog to die. So their vital organs are giving out. They're screaming. There's dogs dying around them, and it's frightening, and it's extremely painful. And they're being essentially slaughtered in the most inhumane way you could ever imagine for what we consider as man's best friend, and it just has to end.
Okay.
Do you know what? Can I just push in there? We've been doing the Exposure of Betty Crumley page, and somebody actually told me that there was laws against euthanizing a dog in front of another one.
That's absolutely not true, because the reason why some I guess facilities choose to use it is because they can put in numerous dogs at one time, set the clock, and walk away. It's known as a set and forget it type of
Absolutely,
way to kill animals. It's almost like a microwave where you put your food in the microwave, walk away, come back, and it's ready. And that's what they do with these gas chambers. It's certainly not one dog at a time. It's numerous dogs.
No, sorry, I didn't mean that. But when we did the Betty Crumley exposure, we were actually told that if they're actually injecting them, there is a law, apparently, and I must look into this, and maybe somebody in the chat room might be able to help me while I'm doing the show, but there was some law or something that a dog can't be euthanized in front of another one. And I'm sat here thinking, hold on a minute, that must literally go against what I've been told already. So maybe I need to look into that.
There are guidelines issued by the AVMA, and they all say one animal at a time and not in front of another. But they're guidelines as opposed to laws. There could well be...
It's just what they recommend. It's not an actual law that if they break, they get in trouble. It's just a way of what they believe is the humane way to euthanize an animal, and they can choose to do it that way, or they can choose to do it their own way.
So in other words, we need to be pushing for that as well then. So we need to be pushing for that law where no dog is killed in front of another one.
Megan in the chat room, she's co-founder of Take Action, and she's saying that law too for EBI. I think what she's saying is that if the animal is being put to sleep by injection, then it has to be done away from other dogs. And we all know Betty Crumley didn't do that.
No, there's a lot of things she didn't do, and we won't start into that, or else I really will get angry.
But I think that does apply to EBI rather than all euthanasia. And I hate using that word.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, the gas chambers is a very big fight, but I'm thinking that, it doesn't seem a bigger fight just appealing to the fact that we don't want dogs literally die. I mean, let's just be realistic. It must be bad enough the fact that they're dying with the gas anyway. And like you've said, half an hour to die and they're suffering during all this, which is totally against everything humanly wrong, isn't it? But the thing is, it's like, I'm thinking to myself, they're actually next to each other. And we all know that these dogs are sensitive. They can pick up, even when we don't feel well, they pick up off us. So what on earth must it be doing to them in there?
They know where they're going. There's the smell of death all around it, and that video that most people have seen, there are several dogs put in, and then on top of the dead dogs, they put more dogs.
Yeah, and also, as we all know, they have a very keen sense of smell, so even before they get into the gas chamber, they smell the remains of other dead dogs, and that's when they start really barking and getting scared.
Yeah, and when they get scared, of course, they fight and they stress, and it's just horrible.
Yeah, and they're desperately trying to get out, and it's just, you'll see a dog go in a cage, and you don't see it desperately trying to go out as soon as you put him in there, but when you put him in this gas chamber, that dog knows what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. But anyway, I just wanted to call in and just say a few words. I know there's other people that want to speak, so I'm not going to take up their time. But I will keep listening to the show, and I appreciate what you're all doing and supporting this.
Well, thank you very much for calling into the show. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you again for everything.
Cheers. Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Now,
you know that, don't you?
Well, actually, I didn't until he put the phone down and I looked in the chat.
Yes.
And something every day.
Yeah.
Excellent. Do you know what? This is the thing, right? Isn't it annoying? And I've got to say, I'm thinking to myself, this chat room, by now, I was expecting to be exploding, although I do know there is a couple of people that have had a bit of a trouble to get into the chat. So anybody who's listening to the show as a guest, please keep trying to get into the chat room, because it does take a few times to get in, but once you get in, you'll be fine, okay? But, you know, we were talking, weren't we, Chris, about the other day about the fact that, you know, these people that actually do the gas chambers, you know, how hard it must be for them putting them in. And people have stated saying, well, why don't they just jack the job in and everything? Because, well, let's be realistic. If they give up the job, somebody else is going to walk into it anyway. And
there will
I
always
want to just
be
say
someone else, won't there? There will always be someone else, and quite likely at the end of the day you'll get a worse person.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, I know this one is a bit of a long one, so I'm going to very... Oh, no, it's not too bad. I'm going to read this out to people. I think most people that have been following the gas chambers will have heard this already, but I'm very quickly going to read this. This is a letter from a gas chamberman in an animal shelter, and this is what he wrote about how he felt about his job and what he did. This is where your pups will end up. I put dogs in the gas chamber. Yes, I gas dogs and cats for a living. I'm an animal control officer in a very small town in central North Carolina. I'm in my mid-30s and I've been working for the town in different positions since high school. There is not much work here, and working for the county provides good pay and benefits for a person like me with a higher education. I'm the person you all write about how horrible I am. More, I'm the one that gasses the dogs and the cats that makes them suffer. I'm the one that pulls their dead corpses smelling of carbon monoxide and throws them into green plastic bags. But I'm also the one that hates my job and hates what I have to do. First of all, you people out there that judge me, don't. God is judging me, and I know I'm going to hell. Yes, I'm going to hell. I won't lie. It's despicable, cold, cruel, and I feel like a serial killer. I'm not all to blame. If the law would mandate spay and neuter, and lots of these dogs and cats wouldn't be here for me to gas. I'm the devil. I know it. But I want you people to see that there is another side to me, the devil gas chamber man. Sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat now. The shelter usually gasses on Friday morning. Fridays are the day that most people look forward to. This is the day that I hate, and I wish that the time will stand on Thursday night. Thursday night, late, after nobody's around, my friend and I go to the fast food line and buy $50 worth of cheeseburgers, fries, and chicken. I'm not allowed to feed the dogs on Thursday, for I'm told that they will make a mass mess in the gas chamber, and why waste food? So Thursday night, with all the lights still, with the lights still closed, I go into the saddest room that anyone can ever imagine and let all the doomed dogs out of their cages. I have never been bit, and in all my years doing this, the dogs have never fought over the food. My buddy and I open each wrapper of cheeseburger and chicken sandwich and feed them to the skinny, starving dogs. They swallow the food so fast I don't believe they even taste it. Their tails are wagging, and some don't even go for the food. They roll on their backs, wanting a scratch on their bellies. They start running, jumping, and kissing me and my buddy. They go back to their food and come back to us. All their eyes are on us with such trust and hope, and their tails wag so fast that I have to come out with my black and blue on my thighs. They devour the food, and then it's time for them to devour some lovely love and peace. My buddy and I would sit down on the dirty, pea-stained concrete, and we let the dogs jump on us. They lick us, they put their butts up in the air to play, and they play with each other. Some lick each other, but most are glued on me and my buddy. I look into the eyes of each dog, and I give each dog a name. They will not die without a name. I give each dog 5 minutes of unconditional love and touch, and I talk to them, and I tell them that I am sorry that tomorrow they will die a gruesome, long, torturous death at the hands of me in the gas chamber. Some tilt their heads to try to understand, and I tell them they will be in a better place. I beg them not to hate me. I tell them that I know I'm going to hell, and that they will all be playing with all dogs and cats in heaven. After about 30 minutes, I take each dog individually into their feces-filled concrete jail cell and pet them and scratch them under their chins. Some give me their paw, and I just want to die. I just want to die. I close the jail cell on each dog and ask them to forgive me. As my buddy and I are walking out, we watch as every dog is smiling at us. They don't even move their heads. They will sleep with a full belly and a false sense of security as we walk out of the doomed dog room. My buddy and I go to the cat room. We take our box and put the very friendly kittens and pregnant cats in our box. The shelter doesn't keep tabs on the cats like they do the dogs. As I handpick which cats are going to make it out, I feel like I'm playing God, deciding which go in to live and die. We take the cats into my truck, put them on blankets in the back. Usually as soon as we start to drive away, they are purring cats sitting on our necks or rubbing against us. My buddy and I take our one-way 2-hour trip to a county that is very wealthy and they use injection to kill animals. We go to exclusive neighborhoods and let 1 or 2 cats go out at a time. They don't want to run. They don't want to stay with us. We shoo them away. They don't want to run. They want to stay with us. We shoo them away, which makes me feel sad. I tell them that these rich people will adopt them, and if worse comes to worst, they get put down. They will be put down with a painless needle, being cradled by a loving veterinarian. After the last cat is free, we drive back to our town. It's about 5 in the morning now, and 2 hours until I have to gas my best friends. I go home, take a shower, take my 4 anti-anxiety pills, and drive to work. I don't eat. I can't eat. It's now time to put these dogs in the gas chamber. I put my earplugs in, and when I go to collect the dogs, they're so excited to see me that they jump up and kiss me and think they're going to play. I put them in the rolling cage and take them to the gas chamber. They know. They just know. They can smell the death. They can smell the fear. They start whimpering the second I put them in that box. The boss tells me to squeeze in as many as I can to save on gas. He watches. He knows I hate him. He knows I hate my job. I do as I'm told. He watches until all the dogs and cats thrown in together are fighting and screaming. The sound is very muffled to me because of my earplugs. He walks out. I turn the gas on and walk out. I walk out as fast as I can. I walk into the bathroom and I take a pin and draw blood from my hand. Why? The pain and blood takes my brain off what I just did. In 40 minutes, I have to go back and unload the dead animals. I pray that none survived, which happens when I overstuff the chamber. I pull them out with thick gloves, and the smell of carbon monoxide makes me sick. So does the vomit and blood and all the bowel movements. I put them out and put them in plastic bags. They are in heaven now. I tell myself, I then start cleaning up the mess that you people are creating by not spaying or neutering your animals, the mess that you people are creating by not demanding that a vet come in and do this humanely. You are the taxpayers. Demand that this practice stop. So don't call me the monster, the devil, the gasser. Call the politicians, the shelter directors, and the county people, the devil. Heck, call the governor. Tell him to make it stop. As usual, I will be taking my sleeping pills tonight to drown out the screams I heard in the past before I discovered the earplugs. I will jump and twitch in my sleep and I believe I'm starting to hallucinate. This is my life. Don't judge me. Believe me, I judge myself enough. Please cross-post this and don't be proud. Spay and neuter your pet and keep it indoors for the sake of our animals' futures.
It's a killer, isn't it?
I tell you what, and let's face it, I'm sure most of us, when we first read about the gas chambers and everything, how many people have sat there and said, oh, yeah, but, I would have just told them not to. Do you know what I mean? I would just tell them I'm not doing that and I'm not going to put them in. But if they don't put them in, the next person does. The other thing is, like that man said in that letter, we're all to blame. Why are we not all fighting for spaying and neutering? And why are we not fighting to put a stop to all of these dogs and cats in the first place? If we'd done spay and neutering, and if we'd not, we hadn't left those 2 dogs together, or if our dog hadn't gone to the next door neighbour's dog, and all these other stupid excuses that we all come up with, if all of that hadn't happened, those dogs wouldn't be there waiting for the gas chambers in the first place.
No, we need to be much more responsible with our pets. Much, much more.
Exactly. Yep. Just a quick hello to everybody in the chat room. It's all nice to see all of you. If anybody wants to give us a call in, you can call in on 347-327-9694. Now, I've got a few phone calls waiting, so let's firstly go to area code 973. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello, it's Joe Dwyer. How are you?
Hello, Joe. Now, I've got my other co-pilot on as well. Hi, Howard. How are you doing?
How you doing, guys? How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Doing good. I'm on a break, so I just wanted to say a couple of things that I'm going to go. But first of all, I wanted to start off by saying that we all want to thank Sue from the bottom of our hearts for all the awareness she has spread from various topics, discussions, people, animals, spiritual. We have an event going. It's called Go Green and Blue to help the Ask Sue show. You can make a donation at PayPal. It's asksue.uk@gmail.com. No donation is too small. Give up a coffee, drink for the week, whatever you got to do. But it was greatly appreciated, and even the small donations will help greatly. So that's my first little mini rant. And Joe, I just wanted to tell you, I was showing my wife last night told her the story about the gas chambers and about your little guy, and I have never seen her this moved, and she even wants to help me a little. I don't think I've been inspired, this much since Patrick. Daniel is just a role model, a hero to all of us, and I think we all have a lot to learn. And, as you said on my page today, Joe, we talk about other countries, how badly they treat their animals and their humans, and look at what is going on here. 28 states, correct? 28 states, is that correct?
At last count, that's what I believe is the correct number, yep.
So when people, when we sit and we think we're gloating how humane it is here, and then you talk about China and Korea and whatever, and then we're doing it here, that's a big problem.
It really is. And, like any other challenge, we need to take one step at a time. I came in as, Sue, you were reading that incredible story, which I've seen before, but it's something you can never hear too many times.
Absolutely.
And there's many different tentacles to the issue, as there is any big issue, and, together we need to tackle them as best we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, obviously, you've inspired, I'm going to say, a lot of people, Joe. Has it been the fact that a lot of people didn't know about the gas chambers until, like yourself and other people started talking about it? Was it something that was as hidden as dogfighting, shall we say?
I would say that's absolutely the case from my background and experience with Daniel. Not long after he came to live here, and I was interviewed by countless, number of reporters, and many people contacted me. There was a very high level of ignorance to the number of states that were using the gas chamber, as well as, as you poignantly pointed out in reading that earlier, the painful death that it is and the horror that takes place. So, yeah, it's a matter of continual education, and there again, it's not unlike any other challenge that we face. We need to educate first.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the more people that know, the better. I've been telling people, Sue has it out there, so just educating and awareness, like we say every time we have something like this going on.
Yeah, and even Howard, like you just pointed out with the experience with your wife, just to share the story and, put it in the context of what Daniel went through. And as we are people of belief now, we know that that's why he lived. He lives so that all of us can tell his story to that many more people, and that many more people are inspired to at least spread the word, make sure that we continue to get the education and awareness out there.
Correct.
Well, I've got to say that we've got Chrissy on as well, bless her. She's been very quiet. She's she's lovely. And she's going to go all bright red in a minute. But it's quite funny because we're both from the UK, and Chrissy's got a page with 44,000 people likes on that page.
Wow.
Yeah. It's awesome.
That's just amazing. That is just absolute fantastic. Are you still there, Chrissy?
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, I thought I'd just check and make sure you're still breathing there, love.
Oh, yes, I'm still
Have
there.
you got any...
You can't be shy on the Ask Sue show. It's impossible.
Mm-hmm. I can be shy where I like.
Have you got any questions for Joe, Chrissy?
No, Joe is just wonderful, and Daniel is just wonderful. It's just amazing that dog survived, and he has taught so many people love to put a face to things. Once the face is put to a subject, it makes a difference, you know. And Daniel is that face, and he's so happy about it.
Yeah.
That's a good point,
Definitely.
Chrissy. I appreciate that because you're right. Once you put a face, and Daniel's face being, well, he's not lacking for good looks and loving looks in his beautiful eyes. So that's a great comment. It's very true.
And the co-founder of our page, Megan, has met Daniel, and she said he licked her all over. He's just such a happy dog.
Yeah, that's right, Chrissy. I'm glad you brought that up. Megan made a trip to Michigan where we had ourselves made a trip there. She had to drive quite a distance, and when I got to meet Megan, we were at the kissing booth, and Daniel was giving out kisses, and people were putting at least $20 bills in the jar for some great rescue groups in Michigan. And yes, she got the beautiful experience of meeting them. That was a wonderful day.
Wow, that's amazing. That's great. That's great. Joe, I wanted to ask you a question because people, always ask questions. The day Daniel was put into the chamber, was it only beagles or it was other breeds?
My understanding was it was a mix of many breeds.
Okay. Someone wanted me to ask. No. Okay.
Yes.
I was just curious. I mean, not that it doesn't matter if it was mixed breeds, but someone wanted me to ask you though. They were just curious.
Yeah, and the numbers that were in the chamber that day with him have varied. I've heard the number as high as 18 and as low as 10, but obviously, again, as that poignant, reading that Sue just did, when it's multiple animals like that, it's just even more of a horrific condition. So there was at least 10 and could have been 18 in there with him, and unfortunately they didn't make it either, but their lives aren't in vain either, as is everyone that unfortunately doesn't make it, because it should motivate us to that much more action.
Yeah, I just can't understand.
I mean, I've heard 18 and I've heard 10 and I've heard various numbers, but it is amazing that Daniel was the one. All the rest have gone, but Daniel was stood there, not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, to be fair, let's just be realistic for a minute. Daniel is just a miracle, isn't it? I mean, what are the chances of him actually surviving? Has anybody ever said how he could have survived? I mean,
they did.
My thought is, did he stop breathing?
Well, no, it's interesting, Sue. A lot of people did offer opinions independent of myself. I never offered one personally. Some people made the comment that he had to have gotten his nose buried under the other dogs. Mm-hmm. Some people said that he was able to get up above the gas. I really have to say that I can't say for sure, but I do dispute both of those points. I've seen him interact with other dogs, especially the dogs that live here with him and me, and I would not say that he would do something like that to save himself. He wouldn't try to bury his nose below the other dogs, and even if he did, would that really have worked? I don't think so. And then if he...
was there, and I wouldn't have thought he would think that he was saving himself. I would think he would just be snuggling with the other dogs.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. Yeah.
But if he hadn't found a pocket there, that might explain it.
Yeah, but surely to goodness, if, we were already saying, like that gentleman was saying, the noises of the dogs, the impact, would they actually snuggle up? Would they not be, jumping around and trying to move and trying to get out? They're going to be stressed.
Exactly.
They wouldn't be snuggling up to each other anyway.
That's right.
I just find it's mind-blowing, right? But then and you know what, I always do this to people, and they hate me for this, but because I spoke to you, Joe, the other night, I'm spiritual, right? And the trouble is, when you're spiritual, I actually pick up how that dog is feeling, and this is what cracks me up sometimes. There's days when I go into meltdown, and I just can't cope with it. And I have got to say to everybody that I've never been claustrophobic, except once when I was in a truck with one of my ex-partners. He was a truck driver, and I just got claustrophobic for some reason. Now, I want everybody just for a minute to imagine that you've done something wrong. Well, in this case, you haven't done anything wrong, and you are put in a gas chamber with 12 other people, and you are gassed in there, and you can feel people, and you're fighting to get out of there and everything. How the hell is it still allowed to go on?
That's the big question, too. How, Joe...
No, because it would,
yeah, you're right, Stu.
We'd never get away with this if it was the humans. There would be can you imagine everybody going absolute mental if, their sons or daughters or whatever were put in there, even if they were criminals? Let's just say that we decided, right, that the criminals, will put them in one of them now because, it's quick and simple as far as they're saying it is, and we'll just put them in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, Joe, I wanted to ask you, Stu, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's criminal. But, Joe, do the politicians, and since Sue, since both of them are in the UK and I'm new to this, what do the politicians say? What can they, don't they realize this is the worst of the worst? It's inhumane? Do they have any, do they come back with anything? Do they say anything? Or that's just the way it is?
Yeah, I've learned this, I guess I surmised it, but in the little amount of time that I've been involved, well, I guess it's been more than a little, it's been over a year and a half now. It's like anything else. This is a long, laborious process. I'm not talking down politicians and what they do and what they have to do, but there's a reality here. They have things on their plate. They prioritize it and decide what's going to be the best way of moving forward with certain of these bills versus other of them to gain the support that they need and move up in their political careers and appease the people that are coming forward. There's all of those factors that are in front of them. And that's just the reality of that world that, takes place in a place that most of us don't get very involved with. That's why I give incredible accolades to Senator Andy Dinniman in Pennsylvania, because there was nothing going to stop him and his staff from getting Daniel's law passed in the state of Pennsylvania. And the way he went about it was just full ahead. He made it very clear that this was a top priority of his, and the reasons why, and all the reasons why matched many of the comments that we've been saying today and the other night when we were together. And he just put forward, and he kept pushing on until that was signed into law. So I give him a lot of credit for taking the stand that he did. Do others do the same? Well, I don't think they do it with the same zeal and enthusiasm, quite frankly, and I couldn't give a good reason why, but it's just a reality, I think.
But we definitely need more politicians like that. Like in New Jersey, Senator Kaine is putting through Patrick's law as far as the abuse. So if we had more politicians like that came forward and followed through with it, it would be great. But we are thankful, for at least that law going through and the other one going through.
Yeah.
Senator Andy,
exactly.
Brilliant. He had so much passion for that bill, and it should be called Daniel's bill. It should be.
Yeah,
Definitely.
It was right up until the end, actually, and then one of the concessions made, or
I know.
I heard it was either a concession. I heard one story that it was a concession, and the other one that there's not allowed to be a bill named after an animal in the state of Pennsylvania. I never went so far to find out which was true, but I agree with you. I wish it had stayed as Daniel's law, but that's the way Senator Dinniman portrayed it, and at least it's that.
It's what we call it always. So.
Right.
Yes, definitely. So can you both, well, I'm going to say to both Chrissy and to Joe, is there anything publicly that we're going to be doing? Is there like any, I'm sure there has been marches and such like before and petitions and everything. What have we got out there at the moment that people are listening to the show that can actually get involved with at the moment?
Well, at the moment, Texas is looking at their bill being voted on in the House tomorrow.
Okay.
And that's really important that people in Texas phone their representatives and support that bill. It's gone through so far, it's gone through the committee and the Senate, and it's gone through without opposition. So we are hopeful that it will pass the House tomorrow.
So, Chrissy, is there anything that they can do between now and tomorrow to help this out?
Yep, they can call their representatives.
Right, okay.
I'll put up a link. I did send it to you. I'll put up a link in the chat room for all the different representatives, okay?
Oh, yes, you did. Sorry, yes, you did.
Have you got it handy? Because I haven't.
Yeah, hold on then, yeah. Hold on.
Yes,
Joe, have you got anything planned and coming up at all? Oh, sorry, Chrissy, carry on, sorry.
Megan's in the chat room saying, call. She wants people to call their representatives to get this bill passed.
Yes.
There's also, Ohio announced that they're going to be bringing up a bill soon, so that will be good. But there's not much we can do about that at the moment, I don't think. I'm sure Megan will put me straight if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Joe, I can't... My Facebook's decided it's just going to have a mental, and it won't even let me look at my older messages. Honestly...
They have a mind of their own at times.
Do you know what, me and Facebook have so many rows, it's getting towards a domestic, I'm telling you. I sit here screaming at this laptop sometimes. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to split out and get back to work, but Joe and Chrissy, thank you so much. I have the utmost respect for both of you, and we're going to really go with this. And Sue, of course, I love you, and thank you for everything you've done for us.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, thank you ever so much for calling in.
Bye.
And once again, guys, if you could, from your heart, if you could send in some donations for Sue to keep the show going. It's AskSueUK@gmail.com. No donation is too small. If you want to do it in honor of Daniel and whatever you need to do in honor of your mom, your dad, Mother's Day is coming up, whatever you feel is good, but it would be greatly appreciated. And giving a donation to the show is no different than giving a donation to the shelter, because Sue has helped so many animals, and I look at it that way. So think about what you got to do and the right way. Peace out, guys, and I love you all.
Okay, love you too, darling.
Thanks, Howard.
Speak to you soon. Trello.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Guys. Bye-bye.
Oh, bless.
I'll put up the link for the Texas directory.
Thank you. I've fallen out with Facebook. I've just clicked back off and gone back in the chat room. Joe, have you got anything coming up as far as the gas chambers?
Well, I think just, taking off from what Chrissy said there, certainly we would love to see another state passed, and that being Texas, which I know they are, doing a lot there, and hopefully that will come to fruition. Daniel and I have 2 trips planned. We are going to South Carolina in June, and we're going to Ohio in September, and we hope that we will make some groundswell activity there. We would love to see a national bill passed. I know we've seen that put out there, and that would be wonderful. At the same time, if we can create enough momentum, I think one of the strategies is that if we see enough momentum that states are starting to pass it, it could become a ripple effect that there'll be pressure on the others to pass it. And obviously with those that do pass it, that's that much more education and people who are behind the effort. So I think it just comes down to that, continuing to educate and getting the word out. On top of staying in. Lots of people have contacted me from other states, and I've urged them to please contact their local representative, explain why it's so important, and give them my contact information if they need it. I'm happy to lend any support. So I think it comes down to all of those individual positive efforts as much as we could do them.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely. Right, are you okay, Joe, for time?
Sorry, go on.
Go on, Chrissy, carry on.
The educating people isn't just your ordinary people in the street and your voters. These politicians need educating, so they don't know what it is, what a gas chamber is, not properly. They won't have seen one. They won't have watched the video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we need to be putting, the videos on their, like Facebook pages, emailing with it, and just getting it out there, don't we?
They really don't like it when you do that.
Yeah.
So are you advising not to do that, or are you saying they don't like it, but do it anyway?
Give it a go. Give it a go, but they don't like it.
Sorry?
When we started this, I'm so naive sometimes. I thought, well, this is obviously wrong. Obvious. I mean, if once people know, they'll stop it. And I didn't think for a minute it would take a huge amount of effort wrong. It's just the hardest thing to get people to understand that it isn't just like a bit too much carbon monoxide in your car and you go peacefully to sleep. It's not like that. And that's what a lot of politicians think.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, exactly. Joe, are you okay for time, or are you having to rush off? Because we've just got another... Oh, we did have another caller. They've disappeared. I was going to say, because we've got another caller. So, what... Jim, this is when I get really annoyed, because I'm in the UK, and I think to myself, right, if I was in the US, what would I want to be doing? And I'm thinking, maybe we can do marches, maybe we can do this, that, and the other. And I'm thinking, we need to, while we've got the show tonight, we need to be able to put something together to make a big impact all at once. And obviously we've got the it's the Texas one tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes, we've all got everything crossed for that.
Yep, so I think tonight, nobody can have any sleep tonight. You've just got to be messaging all of these people. The link is in the chat room, so please go on there, and you can literally, all the list of the people that we need to be contacting are on there, and I think that's what we need to do tonight. Is that agreed?
It seems like a good move.
Yeah,
although I don't
certainly.
know if they answer their phone after the office hours, but... It was the lady who did that walk last week, was it?
Yes.
Now, I really wish more had been made of that. I really wish she had made more, or got more people involved in that, because that's the sort of thing that gets people interested. That,
yep.
Do you know
what got me with that, though? But, Chrissy, do you know what got me with that? Was I'd actually got mutual friends, and it was only you that told me about that lady. And this is what annoys me, is that everybody's saying, oh, we've got no media exposure, we can't get it out there. Well, hello, there's the radio right here that we can actually share links and share this radio everywhere. And people aren't even advising, saying, hey, if you go here, well, you might be able to get some exposure. Just imagine if we'd have been able to get her onto the radio before the walk, sorry.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? What a big of it, it would have been great exposure. Did you hear about that, Joe? What was her name, Chrissy?
I had not.
Megan, help. What was the woman's name?
I can't think of her name. It's just gone straight in my head.
Cindy Midget.
That's right. Because, Joe, she did it was about 350 miles, wasn't it? She walked. And she went and took a petition and everything up to Washington, D.C., and do you know what? I didn't know about it until she was I think it was 2 days. She'd walked for 2 days or something, do you know what I mean? And whatever.
Right.
And she took her dog, and she took the pushchair as well, so we could have a rest and everything. And we just didn't know about it, so we couldn't get the exposure to her. And I think apparently there was 10 people who met her at Washington, D.C.
Oh. No, I wasn't aware of it.
Sorry, Cozy?
I said it's a shame, because that's a lot of effort.
Yes. Yep. Definitely. And any other ideas that we can, advise to people of what else they can do, following on after, obviously we've got Texas to do tonight, but what others have we got that we need to be pushing? Is there anything that's near there, or...
There's not.
Do you mean, is there any that have got bills going past or anything that we can push for at the moment?
At the moment, we're looking at just Texas. There were some others, but they failed earlier in the year. They just died on the floor. Ohio is going to be introducing one, and that's mainly down to the Ohio SPCA. They are doing a fantastic job of closing the gas chambers down.
Okay.
But I can't think of another state that's actually got a bill up and running at the moment. Oh, Megan's saying Kansas.
Okay, so that's something maybe to look into.
Elaborate, Megan.
Sorry, I did learn the other day from you guys that apparently it's not even cheaper having the gas chamber either.
No,
not at all.
In fact, it's about half the cost to use EVI.
Yes. That's the most. That point is probably the one that's least, aware out there, because it's just assumed that it's a more inexpensive alternative, but it's not even close.
The thing is, though, we do have to say that cost analysis is broken down per animal.
Right.
So when they put lots of animals in together, of course, it completely changes all of that.
Well,
and it would
I thought,
for them.
That is the case. But even I think as it breaks down, even on a per animal, I thought at one point I had seen this from Pennsylvania, officials, that it still was more expensive to use the gas chamber. But I could be mistaken. I mean, but that's one thing I saw from at least from them. But certainly, but the other fact, though, that cannot be denied is the danger of the situation for humans involved as well. So the gas chamber, much more dangerous.
And there has been explosions, hasn't there?
Yes. There was a shelter worker killed in Tennessee. That's how come they're banned in Tennessee.
Right.
Good grief. I still sit here and shake my head in just disgust of every single angle we've looked at so far. There is not one thing going for it, is there?
No.
No.
I mean, there isn't, okay, and I've got maybe a plan in a minute, but I'm thinking to myself, there's not anything that they can chuck back at us and say, yes, actually, we can got, there's this, and this. There's nothing. It's not cheaper.
They will throw at you the ABMI. ABMA, I mean.
And what's the ABM?
The ABMA is the American Veterinary Medical Association, and they draw up the guidelines for euthanasia.
Mm-hmm.
So for vets, and they're used by county ordinance, and to say what is and what isn't allowable in shelters. And the AVMA recently revised their guidelines. Now, we sent petitions, and we wrote letters, and everybody got on to it. Everybody wanted them to change the classification of the gas chamber from acceptable, which we just don't think it is, to unacceptable. And really, but then they didn't. At the last minute, they didn't. They've changed it to acceptable with conditions. The problem with that is that these conditions are all well and good in a laboratory situation. They're all well and good if there's someone to actually make sure someone keeps to the conditions.
Absolutely.
But in the shelters as it stands, if it says acceptable, regardless of the conditions, they're going to do it.
And the other thing that is also, and I know this from doing the Betty Crumley page, it's very much political. And let's face it, they're not going to knock it because, most of it is going to be council-run places that are run by political parties, etc. And so nobody's going to say anything on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Is that right?
I've lost my
You've both gone quiet on me. Was I saying that on my own?
Yeah, can you say that again? Sorry.
But, I'm just thinking, because what I'm thinking is maybe we need to do a couple of phone calls, maybe in a couple of minutes, and see if we can actually speak to some of these people, because, I'll just put on the UK accent, and I'll just say to them that, at the end of the day, we don't have them here, and I'd like to know what they can say that is good about this, because I haven't heard anything of good so far.
I don't think they can find anything good. Do you, Joe? I can't think of anything good about it.
No, nothing good whatsoever. And we certainly can easily. I don't think many people would argue with the words of Gandhi about how the compassion of a nation is determined by how we treat our animals, and this is certainly one area where we should be incredibly embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah, even no matter who you are, I don't think I've heard anybody who has a negative thing to say about Gandhi. So maybe that's the way to do it: is say, listen, if you believe him on this one, which is certainly one of his more profound statements, then maybe we should get our act together.
Yeah, it's a lovely quote, that one. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, shall we just have Ghostbusters? No, sorry, that was just one of my UK things. We'll find it funny, but they probably wouldn't. Shall we ring Jim up, do you think?
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go. I have another commitment now, but you know, I certainly would love to be with you again. I've enjoyed this time as I have our last time together, and look forward to being with you again. So thank you for all your good work. Let's continue to work together for all that's good.
Oh, thank you so much, Joe. And I will be giving you a call very soon about the other things that we want to be discussing as well. So I look forward to speaking to you.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks again. Okay. Take care, everyone.
Cheers, Joe. Thanks very much. Thank you for calling in. Bye-bye. Bye. Oh, it's been so far so good. Are you okay there, Chrissy? Are you surviving?
Yes, I'm surviving. I'm almost settling. There's quite a lot going on in the chat room, I see. Megan's here. But she's busy, devil. She won't ring in. We've got Mary. Is that Mary Burns? Yes.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
She's saying go after the AVMA, and I agree with her. The AVMA they must surely have a duty to not only look at the scientific side of things, but for want of a better way of putting it, for what's right, because they know their guidelines are being used to make city ordinance. They know how they're being used. And the fact that they don't police them, and who is going to police them? There isn't anyone.
Yeah,
so if,
exactly.
You know, they're saying, well, if the flow meter reads this, and if the other meter says that, and if the... Oh, really? We're not in the state-of-the-art laboratory. So, and half of the people wouldn't know a flow meter if it jumped up and bit them on the nose. So how is that going to help in any way, shape or form? It isn't. Exactly.
Now, have we actually got a phone number for them at all?
Well, I did send you a link. That's the Dr. Golab is the one. She does the public liaison type of stuff. She's
right, okay, let me see. It's just this damn Facebook is driving me insane because it's just not letting me do anything that I wanted to do. Should we bring... I'll tell you what, we'll have a song. We'll swap these numbers, and then we'll do a couple of phone calls after a bit of a break, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do, everybody, we're just going to have a little bit of a break. We'll have a little bit of a tune, and then we'll come back and we'll be doing some phone calls, and we'll be asking these people exactly what do they think that, what do they think they're doing? So what we'll do is we'll give them a call, we'll ask them their opinions, and maybe we might be able to have a word with people to see if we can find out what they think we should be able to do next. So let's very quickly, let's have a little bit of